Hey folks, Mike Dell here, and as always, I am alive. Today is one day 112 for me of the I Am Alive challenge. It was created by Eric Gustafson. He's known as Flax on the blockchain. Also, High Five to everyone, another great challenge created by Nathan Mars to bring people from Twitter to the decentralized Hive blockchain. Uh, let's see, last week I made a post talking about how it's like second nature for me to move, basically. So today I figured I would go in a little more depth in that and talk a little bit about myself and where I come from and where I've been and stuff like that through my life and see what happens from there. But I was born in Kansas, but and it really didn't live there. My mom is from the Midwest, so my parents got married out there, and we moved shortly after I was born to Georgia, and I stayed there. And I think I was like almost two or something like that. I started to learn how to talk. I had a real thick Southern drawl, being Georgia, stuff like that. So we went shortly after that when I was still, I don't know, I was like two. We went and stayed in California for a little bit of time, and then we moved to Guam for 4 years. I left there, I think I was six, um, but we lived on the island out there for 4 years. I moved from the tropical island to um, Washington State. So we go from hot all the time to the north where it gets really cold. At least I was a kid. So I lived in Washington State, a town called Bremerton. It's across the Puget Sound from Seattle. We stayed there for about 18 months uh, and moved to California. Lived in Southern California, close to Malibu. I lived in a couple places there, around pretty close to the same area there and stuff. For about 4 years, we stayed there. And then from there we moved back to Guam. Believe that. So we stayed back on Guam. I went to eighth and ninth grade out there. We were there for 2 years. I think I was 12 when we moved there, and then we left when I was like 14. So I lived on Guam a total of about 6 years in two different times. And then from Guam, I moved to Florida. Went to high school in Jacksonville. I was there only the 3 years, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade of high school. And then from there, I went into the military. After graduating from high school, I went into the Navy and did one tour, almost 4 years in the Navy. So I went to Orlando for basic. And then after basic, I went to Meridian, Mississippi for like 2.5 months to go to school. And then from there, I got stationed in Virginia Beach. Stayed in Virginia Beach, traveled a lot while I was there. I got to see quite a bit of the world. Where all I go? Puerto Rico, multiple places around the country. My ship was in Mayport, Florida, right by Jacksonville. Let's see, I went to the Top Gun school in San Diego. We went to some other things that we were doing. Exercises. I was in F-14 squadron, so we did some other exercises in different places. Where I went to Fallon, Nevada, and just outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. Uh, I think that's most of the touring I did when I was in the country for the Navy, though. But then I was also in. Let's see. I think I went to Puerto Rico, the Spanish island Mallorca. We went to the resort called Palma. Spent 10 days in Cannes on the French Riviera in France. I spent a bunch of time in Italy, where I went to Naples, Rome, Florence, Pisa. I went to Sicily. Where else did I go? We did another small cruise where I spent a couple of days in England. So I got to see a lot of things up until then. I ended up staying in Virginia Beach for about 14 and a half years. And then I moved back to Florida, down south. Stayed here, I think, from 99 until The end of 2008, I left for a year. I went and moved to northern Arkansas. I came back right at a year later. It was just too cold up there in the winters for me. I'm not really into the snow and the cold weather, so I ended up back down in South Florida. I've been down here and living down here ever since. So that'll go through basically quite a bit of my travels. I'm not done traveling yet. I plan on traveling quite a bit more, but at this point in time, there's kind of a hold on all that due to the pandemic and everything that's going on. There's not a lot of people out there really traveling too much, but as you can see, I've been in a lot of places. I've moved all my life. My dad was in the Navy. I was in the Navy. I've seen quite a bit of the world. There's still a whole lot more to see out there. A whole lot more I want to see out there. A whole lot more of this country. I've been through just in my travels without moving. I've been through well over half the United States. I think I'd counted up at one point. There's like 14 of them that I haven't been in yet, but I've been in all the rest of the entire country, including Hawaii. Um, and I've also visited Canada a couple times. But yeah, there's still a whole lot of world out there. Still a whole lot of this country I want to see, and hopefully things will open back up, and we'll all be able to move around and travel as we used to. Uh, but that sheds a little bit of light in where I've been. Where I'm going to go from here, that's another story that's not written yet, but I have some ideas coming up. But until things change, for now, I'm going to just keep on doing what I'm doing. But I'm going to wrap things up for today, and I will see you all tomorrow.